The Magic Gifts. Long ago, a man called Chang lived with his three sons, Yong, Chin, and Ying. Chang was very old and very rich. One day, he called his sons to his bedside. "I want you to make me a promise," he croaked. "When I die, I want you to share my fortune equally. You must live together happily." Chin was glad to agree, but his older brothers didn't sound so happy. Not long after, Chang died and the brothers shared out his fortune. "I'm the oldest," said Yong grandly. "I should have the largest share." "I'm nearly as old as you," whined Ying. "I deserve a large share too." So Yong and Ying each took a big share of the fortune. "The rest is yours," they told Chin. Chin was left with a tiny bag of silver coins. "Thank you," said Chin. Unlike his greedy brothers, he didn't care for money. Ying and Yong couldn't wait to spend their cash. Soon the house was full of new furniture. "There is no room for you, Chin," said Ying. "You'll have to move out." So Chin bought an old hut in the village. His home was simple, but he was happy. Chin spent his days with the poor villagers. He used his money to help them. He bought them food, new clothes, and even paid their rent. He never spent a penny on himself. Meanwhile, Chin's brothers used their share of the fortune to make even more money. They bought a huge house, silk clothes, and sparkling jewels. They spent every single penny on themselves. One day, Ying and Yong saw a man dressed in rags. He looked familiar. It was Chin. He had given away all his money and was the poorest man in the village. "You can't go around like that," said Yong. "You're making our family look bad," added Ying. "Leave the village right now," said Yong, "and don't come back until you're rich." Chin didn't want to upset his brothers, so he left the village. He walked for miles and miles. At last, he came to a wide stream. He took off his shoes and dangled his tired feet in the cool water. "Excuse me," said a voice. Chin jumped. Behind him stood an old monk. "I am on my way back to my temple," said the monk, "but I can't get across the stream." Chin was tired, but he was happy to help. "No problem," he said. "Jump on my back." The old man held on tightly. Chin carefully waded through the rushing water. The monk and his bundle were heavier than they had looked, but Chin kept going. When Chin reached the other side of the stream, the monk gave a weak sigh. "I feel fainted." "Could you carry me back to my temple?" he asked. "No problem," puffed Chin. After a long walk, Chin and the monk arrived at a lonely, deserted temple. "Where are the others?" asked Chin. "I am the only one here," said the monk. "It's a hard life." Chin felt sorry for him. "I'll stay and help you," he said. Chin spent the next few months sweeping floors, mending things, and copying books. One day the monk noticed Chin looking sad. "What's the matter?" he asked. "I miss my brothers and the villagers," sighed Chin. "Then you must return," said the monk. "I'll be all right on my own." The next day Chin got ready to leave. "I have 3 gifts for you," said the monk. The monk handed Chin an old straw mat, a wooden spoon, and a pair of chopsticks. "They might come in useful," said the monk with a smile. Chin walked all day. "I'll spend the night in this forest," he thought. He spread out the straw mat and lay down on top. It was thin and worn, but Chin soon fell asleep. When Chin woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. The forest had disappeared, and he was lying in a big bed in a beautiful room. Chin poked his head out of the window. He was in the tower of a grand castle. Chin saw the old straw mat under the mattress of the bed. Chin picked up the spoon. It made him think of food. "I wish I had something to eat," he sighed. Fruit came pouring out of the spoon. Grapes, cherries, plums, peaches, and pineapples piled upon the floor. As he munched the fruit, Chin looked down at his torn clothes. "I wish my suit was as fine as this castle," said Chin, taking a spoonful of cherries. Chin suddenly found he was dressed in silk robes. The mat and spoon must be magic, he thought. "I wonder if the chopsticks are magical too," thought Chin, tapping them together. Suddenly, 4 beautiful maids appeared. They sang and danced for Chin. "If only my brothers could see me now," thought Chin. That very day, Ying and Yong passed Chin's castle. "I've never seen this place before," said Ying. "It's enormous," cried Yong. "The owner must be even richer than us." The 2 nosy brothers sneaked inside. When they saw Chin, they were amazed. Chin told them all about the monk and the magic gifts. Ying and Yong were jealous. "Maybe if we were poor, the monk would give us magic gifts," Ying whispered to Yong. "I'm sure he would," said Yong. "Let's get started." When they got home, the 2 brothers gave away their sparkling jewels, a new furniture, and silk clothes. They even gave away their huge house. All they had left were the clothes they stood up in. "Let's visit the monk and collect our gifts," said Ying. When the brothers arrived at the temple, there was no sign of the monk. They waited all day, but the old man never appeared. "Let's stay a little longer," said Ying. They waited and waited. The days turned into a week. The weeks turned into a month, and the months turned into a year. But the monk never returned. Finally, the brothers gave up. They trudged back to the village, tired and penniless. Chin saw them from the window of his castle. "Come inside," he called. Chin welcomed Ying and Yong into his room and shared his fortune with them. At last, the 3 brothers lived happily together, just as their father had wanted. The end. The Magic Gifts is based on an old Korean folk tale. Thank you.